right, guys, so I'm sure you've heard it's become very popular these days, reverse banding. Now, it's not just a gimmick, it's not just created for the sake of creating it. There's actually a reason why you would do that. One of the best tools that both Dillon and I utilize ourselves for reverse banding any exercise that makes it pretty efficient is daisy chains. They're actually used for rock climbing, and well, we use them for training. So they're very, very strong, very stable. Obviously there's lots of loop ends. You can pretty much jimmy them up to use for anything. You've seen probably in other videos of ours, we actually use them for handles sometimes, for pullovers, push downs, that kind of stuff. So super cheap, you can get them on Amazon, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about why we would reverse band something. So when you are actually using bands or reverse bands, you're altering the strength profile or the tension on an exercise. So for instance, when we talk about a hack squat, when you're reverse banding a hack squat, you're actually changing the loading pattern. So you're removing tension or from the lift or from the lengthened position in the bottom. As you press through, the band tension will decrease, putting a larger load on the quads. So you're actually changing the strength profile to match basically the machine. Go ahead.
Yeah, you think of it from just a physiological example. If you've ever done a barbell squat or any kind of squatting pattern with not in a machine, you can think about it like when I get to the bottom here, if I have a really heavy bar on my back or whatever it is, and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come up, this is hard. Yeah. You ever notice how when you get about here, even if it's hard, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna get up. Yeah. It's that first bit. Well, that's because when my knee is flexed like this in a lengthened position, my quad is stretched, I'm weak here. I produce less force, less output at the muscle. And as my leg is getting straighter, I'm getting able to produce more force.
So now imagine when Dillon's doing that, if we could actually add weight to the bar at the point in time where that exercise became easier, so that it was no longer easier at that point in time. That is essentially what the bands are doing. So you have a camp of people who say you're just making an exercise easier. Yes, in a sense, you are making the exercise easier at the bottom, but you are gonna adjust load so that the exercise is actually not easier at the bottom. It's the same at the bottom, but it is harder as your body would naturally make it easier. And that's why we are gonna reverse band an exercise. You can reverse band incline barbell presses, overhead presses. There's a million ways to reverse band something, but some of the best ways we'll go over. We'll create some videos for you guys on how to bound them up, but that's just an explanation on why would we use it. Essentially, it becomes more effective for tissue growth.